Today what we are going to do, we are going to learn something new. But first, let's start with something old. The world's most boring measure. I'm going to draw 4 of these notes. What are these notes called again? If you said quarter notes, you'd be correct. Now, who can tell me what I need to write in order to have the counts for these quarter notes? I would need a big 1, a big 2, a big 3, and a big 4. Perfect. Let's go ahead and let's count this together. Make sure you're tapping your foot. Down, up, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time and ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Freeze. Great. So hopefully those quarter notes are easier for you to understand and the counting's getting better. Now, today what we're going to learn about is we are going to combine 2 of these quarter notes. Let's take these first 2. I'm going to take these 2 and combine them into one new note. Now, if I combine 2 quarter notes, I'm adding them together to create a new note. How many beats do you guys think this new note's going to get? If you said 2, you'd be correct. So these 2 quarter notes would actually be worth 2 beats. Now, does anyone know what kind of note gets 2 beats? It's called a half note. What's it called? A half note, right. The more that you say the phrase, the more that you say the words, it's more likely you're going to remember and you're going to be able to recall it a lot easier, which is why I say them over and over again. So if a half note gets 2 beats, I can replace these 2 quarter notes with a half note, right? Yeah, I should be able to. So let's erase this. Okay, so I erased it. Now, I'm going to draw this half note right over where those 2 quarter notes were. So now what I'm going to do is I need to change the numbers. Wait a minute. Where did beat 2 go? Is it still inside the beat? Yes. So what ends up happening is since it's inside the beat, the big 1 is the one that we say, the 2 stays inside, so we don't say the count. So since beat 2 is inside of beat 1, I have to change the way that I say things and also the way that I write them. So before I had a big 1 and a big 2. Now I have to change it to a small 2, and all that is a placeholder. Beat 2 isn't gone. We're just not going to say it because it's inside of beat 1. Is this little 2 right here, is it going to have a line going through it? No, absolutely not. Do you know why? Because it's not a rest. Remember, the rest is the only one that has a line going through it. So that beat is still there, it's just silent. We're not saying that one. So if we learned a quarter note gets 1 beat and 2 pulses with our voice, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, then a half note gets 2 beats. By the power of math, we know that it will get how many pulses? It should be 4. Somebody say 4. Yes, it's 4. Right, great. What would this measure sound like? Let's try it. Now, I'm going to count this one for you first, and then I want you to try it with me. So me first. Down, up, ready, go. 1, 3, 4. Now you and me. down, up, ready, go. 1, 3, 4. Let's try it again. Ready, go. 1, 3, 4, freeze. Great. So that's the part where you guys have to make sure that the more you see it and the more that you practice saying those counts with the new note, the easier it's going to be when you actually see it, you'll recall it, and you'll be able to count or even play the music that's in front of you. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to also teach you another new thing. You get a bonus. You get a new note. You get a new... What? What are we getting? Now, with every single note, there is a corresponding rest. So last time we learned a quarter note, and we also learned about a quarter rest. Today we learned about a half note, and we're going to learn about a half rest, right? Now, in our music, we're going to see a half rest several different times. Do you know what a half rest looks like? A half rest looks like that. Now, this half rest, if you know how many beats a half note is worth, you know how many beats a half rest is worth. It's worth 2 beats of silence. So you have to remember, during this time, it's silent. So let's do this really quick. If I have a half note and then a half rest right next to it, how am I going to write the counts for that? Let's take what we remembered. The half note gets 2 beats. The first beat, I have to write it big because remember, it's the first beat. I have to remember now, am I going to write a big number or a little number for that second beat that's inside? Little number, right. So I write my little number. Now, this one right here, since this is a half rest and we take what we remembered from that quarter rest, remember the quarter rest had a little number with a slash going through it, that's going to be worth 2 beats. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a little 3 with a slash and a little 4 with a slash. So what I want you guys to try is make sure that you can write this down and make sure that if you were to see that half rest, you would automatically know that it would have little numbers with slashes going through them. And if you saw a half note, that you would need to make sure that the beginning of the half note gets a big number and then has a little number right next to it because it's inside the beat. Well, that about wraps it up for our lesson on half notes and half rests. If you guys have any other questions, as always, feel free to ask. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.